Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Cruise Vibes and High Tides. Today we are exploring one of Royal Caribbean's greatest ships, the Symphony of the Seas. So grab your sea pass, hit that subscribe button, and let's set sail. So when you enter a Royal Caribbean Oasis class ship, you actually enter on deck 5 and you walk right into the Royal Promenade, one of the best areas on the ship, in my opinion. You're going to be spending a lot of time here. You're going to find lots of shops, lots of bars, and lots of places to just kind of hang out. Right in front of you is the Cafe Promenade. Cafe Promenade is where you can get all coffees and late night snacks. If you do have the drink package, you can get all the specialty coffees as well. Things like cappuccinos and macchiatos. Basically all the same stuff you can get at the Starbucks, you can get right at Cafe Promenade. Also on this floor, you can buy lots of high-end goods, bags and watches and necklaces, things, anything jewelry related. Some people love to go on vacation, spoil themselves and buy something nice. This is where you're going to check out all those things in the shops on deck 5. Now, continuing down the Royal Promenade, you can see how open it is. It's a real difference between the Freedom class and the Oasis class. Right in front of us now is Next Cruise. That's where you're going to book your next cruise there. You usually don't get too many discounts, but you do get some onboard credit, so it might be worth checking out. Here is the shop. You can find anything Royal Caribbean-wise. T-shirts and jackets, really anything with the Royal Caribbean logo on it. Me, myself, my wife, and I collect the ornaments, the tree ornaments for Christmas. You're going to want to go in early and buy one of those because they do sell out. Here is everyone's favorite, Sorrento's Pizza, open pretty much all day and all night until about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a great slice. I'm a pizza snob, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best slice of pizza you can get on a cruise ship, hands down. Right in front of us is one of my favorite bars, Copper and Kettle. Here you will have nightly entertainment, a guy with an acoustic playing pretty much any song you could ask for. Make sure you tip him. He does a great job usually. And the bartenders are absolutely awesome in here. You can get all types of specialty drinks, cocktails. The theming is really nice too. It looks like a classic Irish pub, so you can't go wrong. Right next door to that is Port Merchants. It's pretty much everything you can buy at the ports, but on the Royal Caribbean ship. Now, you can't take it with you. You'll get all of it at the end of your cruise. Things like alcohol. They're obviously not going to let you just wander around with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of little kiosks in the middle of the Royal Promenade that'll have different things, different items to buy during different times. Here's Regalia. This is all jewelry that you might want to purchase. For one, when we go on vacation, we don't really buy a lot of souvenirs, but I do understand if you don't get away a lot, it's nice to buy something new. Across from that, you could see some other kind of art. Another thing that sets Symphony apart from its sister ship, the Oasis, I feel like the art is a little bit nicer in the Royal Promenade. Here's another store. You can buy beauty products. Right there is On Air. We'll get to that in a second. There's the Starbucks. I don't really hit up Starbucks. I'm not a fan. I spend a lot of time on air when we're on these ships. This is where nightly karaoke happens. They do have family karaoke, they have adult karaoke, and some of the game shows will also take place in this bar. My opinion, the bartenders here are the absolute best. My advice always to a new cruiser, find a bar you like, find a bartender you like, and they're going to know your name the first day. Make sure you tip them. They will take care of you. Boleros is right across from that. Boleros is the Latin-themed bar. Best coconut mojito on the ship. You can get a coconut mojito anywhere, but if you like mojitos, you definitely want to get one here. They just taste better. And my advice, ask for it blended, not frozen. It just comes out nicer. You'll see a lot of dancing in this place during the night. You'll have bands there. They'll just be playing music, lots of Latin music and dancing throughout the night. So definitely a fan favorite. We don't spend a ton of time in this bar, but the drinks are high end. Starbucks right there next door. I don't really hit up Starbucks, but you see a line form in the morning. Again, if you have the drink package, you can get same coffee at Cafe Promenade. You can get a cappuccino, frappuccino, whatever your favorite is. Utilize the drink package there, not at Starbucks, because your drink package doesn't work at Starbucks, unfortunately. So that's pretty much all of the Royal Promenade. There is guest relations on the other side, which you obviously can hit up if you have any questions about your bill. or anything like that. Here's the elevator banks. Now, these haven't been upgraded to the new system on Royal Caribbean ships. If you go on Icon class or the new ship Utopia. Also on Deck 5, you can access Royal Theater. Here you will see a lot of the plays and some game shows, comedy shows. You never really know what they're going to be doing in there. It's a very nice venue. You do want to get there early so you can get a decent seat, but really any seat in the Royal Theater is really, really nice. Now, going back to the other side of the Royal Promenade, you're going to find another bar called the Bionic Bar. Bionic Bar doesn't have any actual bartenders, just a robot arm that makes drinks. You're not going to find this bar on many of the newer ships. To my knowledge, it's been completely kind of transformed into other bars. The novelty was cool for a little while, but it doesn't really make great drinks, and the atmosphere in here is not good. They've replaced this bar on some of the ships with the pesky parrot, which is absolutely incredible. I wish they would do that to this ship eventually. Hopefully they do. Again, on Deck 5, you can pretty much do everything. You handle your Wi-Fi, your guest relations. You saw some of the kiosks there. If you do take any pictures, if you allow Royal Caribbean to take your picture, you can check them on those little tablets. Here's Regalia again. You can buy a high-end watch. Definitely not a watch person, so I don't usually venture in there, but I see people buying things from time to time. Again, you're on vacation, you want to have some fun, buy yourself a watch. Why not? And that pretty much finishes all the shops. Here we're going to bring you in front of guest relations. The line does form here pretty much throughout the entire ship, so if you do have a problem, I always say get there early before the line forms, because you could be stuck in that line forever. And here's the last bar on Deck 5. This is Rising Tide. Rising Tide's kind of fun because you could ride it up to Central Park. The bar menu is pretty basic. There's nothing special really on Rising Tide that you have to drink. It's just a regular bar. It's a bit of a novelty, but definitely worth the ride at least once on your cruise. You're going to want to take the trip either up or down, depending on where you are on the ship. Now, one floor above Deck 5 is obviously Deck 6, and that is where the boardwalk is located. The boardwalk is a special thing on the Oasis class ships. It's on the aft area of the ship, the back, and you're going to find a bunch of fun things that just isn't available on the Freedom class ships, which that was my first ship, was the Freedom class ship, and this one just blows my mind. Here you have the dog stand, the doghouse. To me, it's definitely a one and done type situation. You could have one hot dog there, but it's nothing special. I really wish Royal Caribbean would do more with that. Here you can see the carousel, fun to ride if you've had a couple of drinks or you're with some children. The arcade is attached to Playmakers, which is a bar, which always is weird to me. There is an arcade on the ship for kids, but then you'll have an arcade attached to Playmakers, which is fine. But I think for me, I wish the bar would cater mostly to adults and not children. But, you know, that's just me. I don't bring kids on a cruise, and I can understand why if you have children, you do want them to play inside the areas where you're going to be hanging out too. You can see some shuffleboard. They do have some arcade games, but not classic arcade games on this ship. On some of the ships, you'll get some more classic games. In here, you find some of the newer games that I'm just not a fan of, like Crane Games or whatever that is, Speed of Light. They do have the Mario Kart game, which is kind of fun. One of them always seems to be broken, though. I don't know why. Here's Sugar Beach. Actually, if your child likes a little candy, the prices in there aren't astronomical, which is happy to say. And Johnny Rockets. We always hit Johnny Rockets at least for one breakfast and one lunch throughout our cruise. The breakfast is complimentary on Symphony. The lunch is not, but it's only a small little upcharge. Here you can see the exit of the Abyss. Again, if you have the guts, I highly recommend this ride. It's very, very fun. I would make sure you wear a t-shirt, because if your skin touches that metal, you will regret it. On the back of the ship, you have the amphitheater. The amphitheater is where the dive show is. You do not want to miss this show. Here you can see some of the performers practicing their moves. It is one of the best shows that I've ever seen on a cruise ship. You do not want to miss it. Now, I will take a pause for 1 second and ask, if you are enjoying the video, please hit that subscribe button. I am going to try to build this channel up and bring you more cruise videos as the time ticks by. So if you are enjoying it, please hit that button. Now, if you are planning an excursion, it's always best to book ahead of time. That way you don't get shut out, because stuff does book up. But if you do need to book something, you can always go to Shore Excursion and to the Picture Lab. This is where you're going to get your pictures either printed or sent to your email. The prices for me are a little extreme. My wife and I are Diamond members, so we do get one free picture. It blows my mind how much they charge for a digital photo. They should just make it cheaper. Here is the Schooner Bar. The Schooner Bar is located on deck 6 as well. It's one of our favorite bars. Not only is the drink menu amazing, I highly recommend the rum old fashioned. There's always entertainment here. We always come to 5 o'clock trivia at this bar, and the bartenders are usually pretty nice, and you get a great view of the Royal Promenade. And the Schooner Bar is on every ship, so definitely one to check out. On deck 6, the spa and fitness. This is where if you're going to go to the gym, you would find that, or the spa. They also have a full juice bar, which your Royal Caribbean beverage package does work here as well. You can get a protein shake, you can get a green juice in the morning. If you want a Powerade, they're not available all over the ship, but they are available here. So grab yourself a Powerade if you need it. Now, if you continue on, you'll get to the gym and you'll walk through the spa. I don't usually hit up the spa too much, but it's there if you are looking for a manicure or a massage. The fitness center is quite big. You'll find plenty of machines, cardio, and some weights, a couple towers. Now, they also offer classes like Roomba and spin. They do cost a little extra, but if you've never taken one, you might want to try it. Hey, you're on vacation. Now, if we continue up to deck 8, we go to Central Park. Central Park is one of the best parts about the Oasis class ship. Here you can see Chops Grill. Chops Grill is one of those paid restaurants. I've eaten here for lunch, never for dinner, but it's a good steak. It's nothing that I would write home about, but it's a good meal. Wandering through Central Park, you'll notice all the greenery, all the plants are real. Someone on board takes care of them. And every once in a while, you'll see some birds flying around in here. There's also someone on board to take care of the birds if they get stuck on the ship, which is kind of interesting. Now, right in front of us, we have Central Park 150, another one of those pay restaurants. I have actually never had a meal here, but I have heard good things. We're planning on our next cruise to try this one out, so maybe I'll do a review on the food next time, but definitely one to try out. Always you can get reservations for lunch if you get shut out at dinner. This is Trellis Bar. Trellis Bar is a great place at night. It's all lit up. It's very quiet. You can get a nice quiet drink at the Trellis Bar, which is awesome. Here, again, a little bit of a trellis greenery. Great place to kind of chill at night. It's never packed in Central Park, even during the day. So it's a great place to kind of escape the big crowds on a cruise ship. That's the one thing that I think people get overwhelmed by, the amount of people on the ship. But there are places where you can go to kind of get away from the crowds, and Central Park is definitely one of them. So you'll be spending a lot of time here, I promise you. The scenic views, you get a nice cool breeze at night, and everything is lit up with nice white lights. They do have live music down here as well. This is Park Cafe, great place for a nice light lunch. You can get sandwiches, you can get custom-made salads. Sometimes you get a little sick of the buffet food and you want something a little bit healthier. This is definitely a place for you if you want a little break, again, from the crowds and enjoy a nice light lunch, soup, salad. They have it all. Definitely you want to venture down here during the day. Now, also on deck 8 in Central Park is Jamie's Italian Kitchen. I've never eaten here. I am Italian, so I don't go on vacation and typically go for Italian food. But if you're from an area that doesn't really have great Italian food, you might want to try this out. I have heard good things about the dinner from people who have tried it. I just can't tell you from my personal experience because I usually don't go out for Italian food. I usually make what I want at home. But again, have heard really, really nice things. So you might want to check that out. And again, Central Park is just a nice place to relax and get away from the crowds, spend some mellow time. And when you're doing that, another excellent place to try during the day is Vintages. Vintages is Royal Caribbean's wine bar. Nobody is in here during the day. If you feel overwhelmed, especially if you have the drink package, go in, talk to the bartender, and he will recommend a nice glass of either red or white or champagne. You can come in here and relax and decompress. It's a perfect place to escape your family and the crowds. But it's just a really, really nice bar. They also have outdoor seating. Central Park is a place where you are going to go a few times throughout your cruise. Make sure you don't overlook it. I think a lot of people overlook the beauty of Central Park, and there's so much to see on deck 5 and on deck 15. It kind of gets lost a little bit. Now, as you exit Central Park, you are going to enter on deck 9, Dazzles. Dazzles is the nightclub. You're going to see live karaoke here. On your cruise, you're also going to see a lot of bands. I myself participated in the live karaoke a few times, making it to the karaoke final. I didn't win, but I had a lot of fun. I sang Johnny Be Good, which was awesome. It was a dream of mine to sing that song with a live band. So definitely a cool, undervalued place on the cruise. I wish they did more with Dazzles. Here's Wonderland. Wonderland is a themed restaurant, kind of like Alice in Wonderland. The menu is a little wonky, but the meal is very, very good. You're going to see and taste different things in different ways. The bar is actually really good too. If you have the drink package, you can just sit at the bar and order the specialty cocktails that are only available here. Kind of like the cotton candy martini, which is really, really good. A little sugary, but hey, you're on vacation. Let's enjoy ourselves. But if you're in for a different kind of dinner, you should definitely check out Wonderland. The newer boats have kind of phased out Wonderland, which I think is kind of a shame because it's a special place. Here is Seven of Hearts. This is a place, again, to relax. A card room. You can come, read a book, work on a puzzle. They have some computers available too. There's a little library in the back corner. I don't usually spend a whole lot of time there, but it's there if you need it. Now, also on deck 14 is Adventure Ocean. It's the daycare center for the ship. Don't feel bad about dropping your kids off here. The staff does an excellent job keeping them entertained, and they're going to have a blast there. Deck 15 and 16, the sports and pool deck. This is where you're going to spend a lot of time during the day. Again, if you are looking for a chair, get there early. All the slides have lifeguards. All the pools are monitored at all times if they are open. So don't worry about your children if they don't know how to swim too well. The pools really aren't too deep anyway, so you shouldn't feel nervous. The staff is great. They're always monitoring, always looking around. Now, on the pool deck, you can look right down into Central Park, which is kind of cool. Here you can see one of the lifeguards hanging out, watching the kids swim. There are several pools on top deck, which is good. It kind of spaces everyone out a little bit. But again, if you want a chair in a specific place, you're going to want to get there early. People will snatch those seats up, which is kind of a bugaboo for me. I wish people didn't just take chairs just to take them. Royal Caribbean does have a 30-minute rule if you leave your chair vacant, but rarely is it enforced. I wish, again, Royal Caribbean would enforce that a little bit. It would help everyone and stop the kind of fights that happen on top deck every once in a while. You can see some of the hot tubs, which are very, very nice too. Here's your towel stand. Make sure if you take a towel, you bring a towel back, because Royal Caribbean at times can charge you at the end of your cruise if you take too many towels out and don't bring them back. Here's the pool bar. It's open pretty much all day long. There you can get a nice margarita. You can get a frozen pina colada. You can get really all the fun Royal Caribbean drinks right there. Here's a splash pad. The little kids are going to spend a ton of time at the splash pad. Not the biggest splash pad in Royal Caribbean's fleet. You can tell it only has a couple of slides. It has the big bucket, but it will keep your little ones entertained for a long time. So you're going to be spending a lot of time there if you choose to bring your children on this cruise. But it's actually not too bad. It's a good place to get refreshed if it's really hot out and you don't want to go into one of the pools. You just kind of hang out and get refreshed while you're watching your kids. So, which brings us to El Loco Fresh. This is a Mexican-themed kind of quick service area where you're going to get Mexican food. Tacos, quesadillas, burritos. They have a full salsa bar set up here. I love this place for lunch. It does get a little packed. The line gets a little crazy, but it's worth it. The food always comes out really fresh, really hot, and it's just a great place to grab a quick lunch. Also, you have the sports court back here. They have every kind of competition you could ask for. Soccer, basketball. You can see some pickleball is being played right now. They do have a tournament for all you pickleballers out there. They have dodgeball. If you want to stay active, if you're a fan of these competitions, you're definitely going to want to check out the sports court throughout the cruise. Here you can see an open area. This is the back of the ship. So right there below us is the amphitheater. Here you can see they actually do have some zip lining that goes across this gap. You know, I've been on Oasis ships probably 5 or 6 times at this point. I've only ridden this thing one time. You do need your shoes. You do need a shirt. It's kind of a one and done, but definitely worth checking out at least once. Up here, you can see the flow rider. They do have two flow riders on the Symphony. Usually one is being run with a bodyboard and the other is for stand-up surfing. Depending on your level, you might want to try they make you try the boogie board first to make sure that you're competent, that you're not going to get yourself hurt. But it's a great place to people watch and just watch people wipe out all day long. They also have a bathroom here, which does come in handy. It's always a worry, like finding a bathroom on the ship, but there is one right here on the rear. This is the entrance to the abyss. You grab your little mat, they show you how to do it, and then you go. They'll bring you all the way down to deck 6, the boardwalk. Again, very, very fun. Located on the other side of the ship is the other flow rider. Again, this one usually is the area for stand-up surfing. I myself do qualify every year to stand-up surf. It does take a little bit of balance, and it is a little different than regular surfing. If you're a surfer, the water is coming at you and not behind you, so it does throw you off a little bit. But once you get it, it's really, really fun. There is also a bar in the rear called the Wipeout Bar. A great place for a drink. Here is the mini golf. The only gripe I have with Royal Caribbean's mini golf is that they have no covering above you. The mini golf holes are fun. The obstacles are really enjoyable, but it gets very hot on the mini golf course in the middle of the day. People suffer through the holes. I wish they would add a little canopy there to protect people. If you're interested in diving, you could always get a dive lesson on board. Continuing around this side of the ship on deck 15, we go to the solarium. This is the adults only area. The adults only area is specifically designed so that kids aren't running around taking up all the space. It's a great place for lunch and breakfast. I highly recommend the solarium breakfast if you're not a fan of the buffet. It's just quieter. They have all the same food, so you're better off going in there. In the back of the solarium also, they have plenty of seating. They do have a small pool. I wish the pool was a little bit bigger, but there is a pool there. There's some hot tubs. Your warning though, the glass here can really capture heat. So during the day, it can get stifling. That heat is no joke, so you might want to take some breaks or at least refresh yourself in the pool. Now, there is a full bar in the solarium, which is really nice. This is open at night sometimes too. They'll have a white party on the back of the ship, adults only, obviously, and that's where you're going to get all your drinks. You can see the pool is facing the aft of the ship, which is, you get really nice views down here. Again, that's the pool right there. A little small for this size area. I wish the pool was a little bit bigger. But, you know, you still get a great view. You can have a nice drink. It's one of those relaxation areas on the ship. Now, going up to deck 16, this is how we get to the main buffet, the Windjammer. A lot of people will complain about the buffet. It's a buffet. That's the thing you have to remember. The food is designed for the mass of the ship. There are so many people here and so many options that you're going to have. The food is never going to blow you away, but it's going to be decent. You could always find some really good options in the Windjammer throughout the entire cruise. Sandwiches, fresh fruit. They'll have different soups, different pastas, always burgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, that sort of a thing. But there's always some different stuff in the steam table. So you always want to take a nice loop around to see what they might have different today. They also have an additional area in the back, which people kind of overlook. If you continue around the back, you'll have the beverage station, but you also have a hot grill station. So you never want to just stop at the beginning. You want to peruse the whole buffet to see what's available, especially in the back, because that's usually where the desserts are. And, you know, again, you're on vacation. You don't want to overlook the buffet. Here's the grill area that you will see, which brings us to Hook Seafood. Hook Seafood is one of those pay restaurants, of course. You can always check out their menu. I come from an area that has a lot of fresh seafood, so I usually do not book this restaurant. But again, I've heard excellent things about the menu. Now, on deck 4, you will find Casino Royale. There is a full bar in the casino, so don't worry about that. You'll have plenty of drinks. There's plenty of table games. There's plenty of machines. There's lots of TVs too. It's a great adults-only area where you can come and gamble a little bit. The only gripe I have about the Casino Royale is the smoking. One side of the casino is smoking free. The other side allows smoking. However, it's one room. it does get a bit overwhelming for me. Now, if you continue through the art gallery, you will see a smoke-free casino area, but it's a very small venue. It's not really worth it. Here is Studio B. Studio B is where the laser tag is, a lot of the adult games, and also the ice skating show. The ice skating show is one of those shows that you do not want to miss. It's very enjoyable. You can see they use drones now in the current show that they perform. It's excellent. So do not miss that. The laser tag is a lot of fun too. Now on this deck, you'll also have the Diamond Lounge. This is only open to Diamond class members and above. There's nothing really too special in here. It's again another getaway, another place to kind of relax. They'll always have some light snacks and offerings throughout the day. You can get a cup of coffee, you can get a juice, a drink. Nothing alcoholic though, but throughout the day you might want to pop in if you are a Diamond member. Now, also on this deck, deck 4 is the Attic. This is the comedy club, but it's also open for different events like trivia. I think they hold Disney trivia down here if you want to participate in that. It's a nice venue. All the seats are really good. The comics can be hit or miss. Sometimes they have really great comics. Sometimes not so much, but you know, it's hit or miss. This is the Smoke-Free Casino. This is its own little venue. It's very much smoke-free. You do not have, if you have any breathing issues or you just can't be around the smoke, this is where you're going to be. But as you can tell from the size, it's very undersized. There's only a handful of games, a handful of tables. Like I said, for me, it's not that big of a deal. I don't go on these cruises to gamble, but you know, you might want to check it out. Here is the Hibachi and Sushi. Again, I don't really go on cruises to get hibachi. I have a great hibachi place down the street from me, but I understand you're on vacation. You might want a fun hibachi night or a sushi night. I've never eaten in this venue, but again, have heard people say that it's an excellent experience. So if you love hibachi, you might want to check it out. And that's really it. That is the ship. As I said, Symphony of the Seas is one of my favorite ships. It has something for everybody. It has a great layout, a lot of activities. The staff is always top notch, and it's definitely a ship you will want to check out. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next, what ship you want to see next. I am booked on the Allure of the Seas coming up in a few months, so I'm going to be taking lots of video of that and maybe doing a live stream. Who knows? So if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.